a background on Win and our parent company, Odyssey Logistics, and then I'll go into the system and I'll run through just an LTL order just to show you what it looks like. There's a ton of other features in Win that I can show you as well. And Brian, if you want to start, yeah, go ahead and start recording. We'll get going.
Already done.
All right, perfect. So as I said, Win, we call it the Web Integrated Network, and that's really what it is. It's a network of carriers that we've gathered over the last probably 20 years. We have a very large carrier network that we provide to our clients through the Win system. It is a software. It's something that you log into and you access, all the functions inside of it. Okay. A little more information on Win. It is a web-based tool, so nothing will be installed on your computer system internally. So it is a website that you log into. There's no limits to the number of users that we can assign to Win. So if you have multiple people scheduling shipments, or maybe their roles in the company are different, we can assign user accesses. We can assign administrative access, and we can customize those logins based on the user. Okay. The second piece there refers to our ability to integrate, and we are able to integrate with pretty much anything out there. We've done a lot of integrations with Made2Manage and Intuitive, and we can bring in the specific shipment detail from those two systems directly into Win. So when you log into Win, all of your orders will be sitting in there waiting for you, and you can go ahead and tender them out. So it is a seamless integration. Our team takes care of that integration on our end here, so we have called the hooks in place. We can do the mapping for you, and there's no cost associated with that as well. The final piece on the slide there is our network. And I've talked about our network a little bit already. We will provide you with our Win network. So all of our carriers, all of our brokers that we have rates in place with, you'll be able to access through the Win system, and you'll be able to book directly with those carriers through Win. Where I think we really separate ourselves in the marketplace is we have what's called a non-exclusive relationship. So what that means is if you have any carriers right now that you're working with, that you're booking shipments with, that you might have negotiated rates in place with, you can load those carriers into Win and continue using them through our system. So you're getting a side-by-side comparison of all of our carriers in our network and all of your own carriers that you have a relationship in place with right in one place. And you can book with either of those through our system based on, what makes most sense for that particular order. Okay. A little more information on Odyssey. So Odyssey Logistics is our parent company. They're a 3PL based in Connecticut. What we've done basically is we've taken Odyssey's technology and we've trimmed it down and created a product that I'm going to show you today, Win, that houses all of the carrier rates and carrier connections that Odyssey has built and gives you access to all of them through the system. So it's perfect for companies that have an internal logistics management team that can, compare rates very easily all in one place. We have coverage through Win throughout North America, so USA, Canada, Mexico. We have over 3,000 carriers and brokers in there, ranging from small parcel carriers, LTL, truckload, flatbed, tank truck, intermodal, pretty much any ground shipment you can think of, we can handle it through Win. And we have a vast network of about 500,000 different lanes. So we have coverage throughout the North America, throughout USA, Canada, Mexico. Okay. It's a quick snapshot of some of the carriers that we currently work with. I'm sure some of you will recognize some of them that you already probably have relationships in place with. Really the point of this slide is just to illustrate again that whether it's a regional carrier or a national carrier, we have connections with a lot of different carriers out there. We have rates with a lot of carriers, and we'll be able to give you those rates when you access Win, when you log into Win. Okay. The next way Win really does separate itself is our very unique business model. It's a no-cost, no-fee business model. So we don't charge the end shipper for using Win. It's completely no cost. That includes system setup. So we'll train all of your users, get them up and running comfortable in Win. We'll load information into the system. One of the best features of Win is that it's, like I said, customizable. So you'll pick and choose which carriers you want to load into Win. You can blacklist carriers, you can include your own carriers, and we'll set all of that up for you during the implementation. We'll also do the integration for you. So whether it's Made2Manage or Intuitive, we'll do those integrations. We'll have those orders coming into Win automatically, so you don't have to enter them in again in the Win system. And then from there, we also provide ongoing support. So we have a team here, we call them business analysts. Once you decide to go forward with Win, you're aligned with one individual business analyst, and they take you through the whole onboarding process and then support you throughout your usage of the tool. So anytime you have a question about a shipment or the system itself, you can reach out to that one person and they'll support you in the system. That being said, it's very easy to get up and running. Usually we can get you up and running in a week. That includes the integration. Most of that work is done on our side. There's very little for your IT teams to do or anything like that because we do take care of the mapping and the integration. Okay. How we make our revenue through Win, as I'm sure you're all wondering, is through our partnered carriers. So all the featured carriers that we've made connections with over the years, every time a shipment is booked with one of our partnered carriers, they pay us on the back end for that visibility that we provide them. So when you log in and book with a Win carrier, just know that a portion of that cost that you see in the system is coming back on the back end to us. That's how we give it away at no cost. And all the revenue is driven through the carriers that we've partnered up with. Okay. The last slide I'll show you here before we jump into the system, and I want to focus more on the right side of the screen, are the shipper benefits. We see a savings of about 15% for new users in Win. Most of that is driven through our leverage analysis. Leverage analysis, all that means is really we're able to take the volume of shipments running through Win, which is a large volume, and negotiate rates with our carriers, volume discounts and that sort of thing with our carriers, and then we're able to load those into the Win system and provide our clients access to those rates through the system. As you use the system more as well, we'll get to see some of the lanes that you're shipping a lot of volume on, where you're shipping your product, and you as a user or your user can actually reach out to carriers that they meet through Win and negotiate contracted rates with some of those carriers. So Win will give you the opportunity to really build relationships with different carriers that you might not be working with now. The other two up there, route guide visibility, that just means that all of your rates are going to be in one screen. There's a few ways that we can pull rates into the system. First is through what are called API connections, where we actually have connections with the carrier web services, websites, and we pull their rates in directly into the system. The other is paper rates. If you have paper rates, we can load those in as well. So either way, that's fine. With all your rates being in one screen, nothing's going to fall between the cracks. One of the comparisons that I make is Win's a lot like the Expedia of freight. So when you go to book a flight on Expedia, it shows you all the different airlines. Win's going to provide that same visibility just with carriers instead. And the way they get their rates in Expedia is very similar to how we get our rates into Win. Last but not least is mode comparison up there. We have an optimization tool in Win that basically takes a look at all the shipments that are sitting in the system and tries to find the best way to ship those products, or ship those orders, I should say. If that means creating a multi-stop shipment or a consolidation, the system will actually notify you if there is a cost savings opportunity. This is not a fit for every client. It's usually clients with high LTL shipments where we can consolidate in a truckload or something like that. But it is something that exists. I'll go over it quickly when we go through the demo. I'll show you what it looks like in the system as well. But it can be a very powerful tool if you're doing a lot of volume on LTL. All right. So I'm going to jump into the system now. So you should see my Win login screen. I have my username and password saved in there. Like I said before, there's no limit to the number of logins that we can assign. So if there's more than one person that needs access, that's no problem. When I log in, it's going to take me to my home screen. Now, like I said before, there's a lot of information that we can throw at you in Win. There's a lot of metrics that we can throw at you, cost savings metrics and that sort of thing. But we can also trim it down to make it a lot easier to use depending on what your needs are. So it's very customizable. The first thing you'll see here are order alerts. First and foremost, when we integrate with an ERP system, the orders will flow into Win, okay? And I'm going to scroll down to my ERP synchronization section down at the bottom here. So if we've integrated with the Intuitive or Made2Manage ERP, the orders flow into Win. The ERP sync feature here takes a look at all those orders and verifies that all the information is correct. So in a sense, the Win system will actually double check all that information to make sure it's actually ready to go out to tender. You'll see in here we have a couple failures. So it'll notify you if there's missing information. Once the information flows into Win, it gets organized into these order alert sections. The order alert sections can be multiple filters. So we can organize all of your shipments based on day of the week that you're shipping it, location that you're shipping from or to. However you want to identify your shipments when you log into Win is what we'll set up for you. These order alerts also notify you when shipments have been picked up, when they've been delivered. If there's any changes in the order or anything like that, we can provide automatic notifications to you. So it's a great way to keep an eye on all your shipments. The second piece down here is our spot quote tool. So there's two ways to send out orders, and probably depending on the company and how you're interacting with carriers right now, some of you might use our contracted rates that we have in place. Others might use our spot quoting tool. spot quoting tool allows you to reach out to a dozen carriers at a time or however many you want and get a live quote on a shipment. Okay, so that'll give you a way to interact with carriers, bring in a bunch of quotes at the same time. You can pick and choose which ones you want to book with. Those are all live quotes. When they do that, all of the responses are compiled into this spot quote window, and then you as a user would just go through and click on an order that you want to look at. These green ones over here are live spot quotes. You'll see I have 12 responses on this one, 2 on this one, 3 on this one. I'll go through a full spot quote with you as well in a second, and then I'll come back to this spot quote window. But this is a very powerful tool if you're reaching out and getting live quotes from carriers right now. Okay. So let's imagine the order has come in from the ERP system. I want to take a look at the 14 orders scheduled to go out this week. I can click on that hyperlink, and it's going to bring me to these 14 orders. It's going to also show me the status of those orders. So all these orders are ready to tender, meaning all the information's in there. They're ready to go. I have my origin, what type of shipment it is. If it had a carrier attached to it, it would show up in this column here. So if you've already picked SDs or whoever you've picked for that shipment, it'll show up there, and it'll show you the freight cost as well. So let's say you wanted to send out this top order here, or find a carrier for it. You click on the order, go into the tendering tab, and you click tender. What that's going to do now, Win has reached out to the carriers through those API connections and pulled together a route guide. Okay, it's going to show you all the 21. There's 21 carriers that are available or can handle this shipment. It's going to show you the freight cost for that shipment, as well as the transit time. And then this Win network column here lets you know if it's a Win carrier. So green check mark equals one of our carriers. The ones without the green check marks are examples of your incumbent carriers. So any carrier that you've loaded into Win that you wanted to continue seeing and continue using will be loaded in there, and you'll be able to compare them right next to our carriers. Right from this screen, you can select the carrier and hit proceed to send tender. That's going to tender, in this case, it's going to tender the order out to that low-cost carrier there and notify them of that shipment. You also have the ability to change the carrier. So if you want to go with someone else from that route guide, no problem. Select them instead, and you can book with anybody else from that route guide. Okay. So now these are our contracted rates. So these are solid rates that we've negotiated with carriers, or you've negotiated with your carriers. But if you wanted to do a spot quote, which is the second way to get a carrier, as I said, you can start a spot quote instead. And you'll see the Start Spot Quote button. If I click on that, it's going to bring me, it's going to bring all the shipment information that we had in there along with me, and it's going to jump me into this spot quote window. Now, on the first screen you'll see here, again, we can load as many carriers, as many brokers in this screen as you want. So if you reach out to brokers to spot quote, we'll load them in down at the bottom here. You'll see again, there's 4 brokers up here on the Win side that you can reach out to. And if you want to select all of them, you just click on the master button up here, but you can also pick and choose which ones you want to send the spot quote out to, depending on the lane. And then when I click continue, each of those carriers' email addresses filter over into this section here. So all of our spot quotes go out by email. The email comes from whoever's scheduling the shipments. You'll see my email address is in there, but if you scheduled it, it'd be your email address. And then you can also set an explicit response date. So if you needed an answer by the end of the day today, go ahead and set that expectation with the carrier, and that'll let them know they need to get back to you by 5 p.m. today if they want a chance at this shipment. Okay. From there, I will send that spot quote out to them. So the Win system is sending an email out to those 7 carriers and brokers, and they'll receive an email. And when they reply back through that email, it compiles all of the responses into this spot quote window in Win. So Win compiles all the responses. You as a user would just go in, select one of the orders, and you'll be able to see all the responses. So this is a spot quote we sent out to a lot more carriers, an older spot quote, but it's going to list the carrier that responded, if they accepted or declined the spot quote, their pickup date, their delivery date, and the total cost for that shipment. Okay, and right from there, you can compare between all the options, click on whichever carrier or broker you want to book the shipment with, and if you hit start tendering, that'll book the shipment with whoever you've chosen. It'll also notify the rest of the carriers that they were not awarded that spot quote, and it'll close that spot quote out on them, so they won't bug you for a response. We see a lot of companies that do a lot of spot quoting. They'll send a few spot quotes through Win, and then as the carriers start to see that they're losing bids to other options, because they get notified when they don't win, it creates kind of a bidding war the next time they do it. So we see the prices tend to come down as the spot quote tool is used more. You can also compare the spot quote prices that you're getting to the contracted rates that you have in place, and book with whichever one makes the most sense for each shipment you're doing. Okay. So actually, usually I ask for questions, but I'm not going to do questions today. If you have any questions, I'll flash my email at the end, but we're also going to follow up with you as well. But that's the two ways to book an order through Win, through those contracted rates. You can load your own in there if you have any, as well as spot quoting and getting live quotes from carriers. The next piece I want to show you is we do have tracking in Win. Okay. So if I put in a order number in here, I can pull up an order. Now you'll see this is an older order back in 2014. Nothing in Win ever falls off the back end, so it's you're always able to reference different orders. This is great for reporting. In fact, a lot of our reporting information is pulled right from this screen. So you see your products tab, routing guide information, pricing information, and then we also have full tracking. Okay, so you can see where an order was picked up with a timestamp, all the way through to where it was delivered and who signed off on that delivery. This again, all this information is being pulled right from the web services of all of the carriers that we work with. So as soon as they update their, as soon as FedEx updates their tracking, Win will grab it and pull it into the Win system. So you can just check on it through the Win system here. We also have the ability to generate your bill of lading. So if you click on BOL, generate BOL, it's going to pull all the order information from that shipment and put it onto a PDF file. So you can send it to the carrier, print it off, and hand it to the driver. Okay. One thing actually I want to jump back on. So I'm back on the home screen here. I'm going to go back into this week's shipments. I get this question a lot, so I want to go into it here. So I'll collapse this here. I selected an order and I went right into tendering and I booked that order. If you ever have to edit the order, you can do that as well. So once the order comes in from your ERP system, you can find it and Win. And if you do have to make minor changes to it, you can edit that order. And it's going to bring you all that information that we've integrated over from the ERP system. So you'll see this is an LTL example with the date of pickup. You have your origin and destination saved in here with the contact names of the people at each location. You have the product information, so weight, class, NMFC, packaging and handling unit sizes, and any special services like a lift gate at delivery or really anything extra that you need, we can pull that information right over. And you can edit that, like I said. So that's where all that information is being stored. That's what we're sending over to the carriers when they're rating that shipment. And I just wanted to kind of clarify that for you. Okay. I just want to touch on optimization, so I'm going to work down the list down here. Optimization is next. We offer, as I said before, an optimization tool. And what it's doing, like I said before, is showing you a best way to ship certain shipments that are in Win. So if it can find a cost savings, it will show you those. And in my demo environment here, I have 3 that are showing up right now. I'll click on this middle one here. Basically, what's happening is it's telling me if I combine these 3 LTL shipments into one multi-stop shipment, it'll and ship it with, in this case, JB Hunt, it's going to save me 36%. And Win's going to be taking a look at all your shipments in the system and trying to find cost savings opportunities for you. You as a user can log in and see those suggestions. You can ignore them if you want, or you can take advantage of them. You can also modify them, build your own consolidations, build your own multi-stops. There's a lot of features that we can do for you in that regard. And that's just something that kind of runs behind the scenes, at all times. Like I said before, it's more suitable for a company that does a lot of LTL shipping. It can be a very powerful feature of Win. Next thing I'll show you here is the report section. So we have a full reporting suite in Win. We have a number of built-in reports where you can see carrier activity, carrier scorecard reporting. So you can take a look at, our carriers picking up and delivering my shipments on time. How are their costs compared to the other carriers that I'm using? We have shipment cost reports. You can see your cost per pound, your average cost per certain lane that you're shipping. We can also design a report for you. If I go into a report designer, there's a ton of information that's being held in Win. We can go ahead and design reports for you if you want to see certain things. When my report designer comes up, you'll see it. But anything that you want to see, so if I wanted to create a new report, I can do that. Anything you want to see, we can design for you. And the nice thing about Win too is if you do start to rely on certain reports, we can have those reports automated in the Win system. So we can have them emailed out to you on a weekly or monthly basis. in whatever format you want, Excel, whatever style you want to see that report, let us know and we can customize those for you. The last feature I'll show you down at the bottom here is the tools section. So there's a lot of different things in here, distance checks. You can also pull a contracted rate. So if you just want to see a contracted rate in the system without actually booking a truck, you can log into Win, quote a shipment. You can export all those quotes into an Excel file again and provide them to your clients. So if you ever have to quote lanes, you can do that through Win. And then when they pick a carrier, you come back into Win and you book it. But you can save those quotes and send them off to clients as well. Okay. Finally, help screen down at the bottom here. This can be used for a few things. So you can actually enter specific claims. If you have a claim on a shipment, any system issues or shipment issues, this will notify the carrier as well as our support staff here. So you'll have that, like I said, that one specific person monitoring all your shipments in your account, and they can reach out to the carrier on your behalf. They have a relationship with the carrier if you need to. Obviously, any system questions you might have, you can reach out to us through this as well. Or if you need us, you can give us a call as well. The point of contact phone number will be listed there as well, and you can reach out and get assistance when you need it for the Win system. Okay. So I will open it up to questions right now. Actually, I've kind of done a high-level look at it right now. Is there anybody that has any questions? Again, if you want to send me a side email, feel free to do that as well. But I'll open it up to any questions right now. That's great. It means I explained it excellently.
Well, make sure you're unmuted if you're trying to talk, because most everybody's muted right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to talk, please push the button up above, the green button. Make the yellow button, make it green, and then you can talk.
Okay. And yep.
Hi, Brad. This is Ruben from Seco Trimble.
Yeah.
This is a pretty neat kind of approach for consolidating all your carriers in one system. If this is only for domestic or international shipments as well. You say international too?
It's for all shipments in North America, so USA, Canada, Mexico. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And
so
all
we can handle.
You mean intermodal or just and everything in between, right?
Everything, yeah, including intermodal. We do small parcel. We have a small parcel application that ties into this as well if you're doing that, and then everything in between. Yeah, LTL, truckload, liquid bulk tank trucks. Yeah, we have carriers across the board.
Brent, do you see the question from Christina in the chat?
I did briefly. Christina, if you want to just go ahead and ask again so everyone can hear it. Or I can, it disappeared on me.
Okay, it says where in M2M does it pull the shipping info from shippers that are made within our system?
For shippers, what does that mean for shippers that are made within our system? For shipments that are made?
She says from shippers that are made within our system, ?
So, okay, so Christina, any order information that's held within your system, any field that houses that order that we can map over into Win, what we do is we place a product called Jitterbit on the Made2Manage or Intuitive systems, and it's a read-only integration. And what it does is it grabs specific fields out of those two ERP systems and pulls them into Win, and then creates the order in Win. And all of that's done through, like I said, Jitterbit. I think that's what you're asking. It is a read-only agent. It's an amazing integrator, really. It takes us about a day to integrate, so it's pretty great. And anything, yep, I got to thank you. Excellent. Thank you, Christina. Sounds good.
Hi, Brent. This is Cedric from McKesson. I guess one of the questions I have is after the load is tendered and accepted and shipped out of Win here, does it also communicate back to Intuitive to close out the order?
We can set up that talk back into Intuitive if you want to, yes. It's really up to our clients. Sometimes they just want that one-way read-only integration, but we can set up a two-way communication as well.
Is that something handled between you and Intuit, between Win and Intuitive, or is that something that you guys do solely yourselves?
That's something we do between Win and Intuitive, between the ERP and the Win software. Yeah.
Is that you guys working with Appian to make that happen, or this is something you guys do on your own?
It is. Yeah. It's something we would work with Appian to do that. Yeah. Okay.
Brett.
Yep.
Sorry, this is Robin again from Sequel Trumbull. Are you planning to integrate other than surface transportation, air or ocean in the future, or?
We are, yes. We are. We're working towards being fully international, fully overseas. But it's not something that's on the immediate horizon, but that's definitely the goal of this system, is to be worldwide. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put up my contact information. So if there is any additional questions, you can email me. Chris Laval and myself will be reaching out to each of you as well, just to discuss further. If you're interested in setting the system up, it's very easy to get up and running. We don't have any terms to our agreement, so if you if you like us, we're very happy about that, and we think you will. But there's nothing that's holding you to us. All we have to go forward is our terms of service, which is basically, it just protects our system, and it also protects our carrier relationships, as well as any information that you load into Win. Any carrier information is also protected under that document. Once that's completed, and it's sent through DocuSign, once that's completed, we would set you up with access in Win. We would run through a few orders with you, build your environment, and start that integration as well. It's very easy for us to get up and running, and you set up in the system. Okay. Additionally, if you want to contact Brian Tognoni or Gary Cierney, absolutely do that as well, and they can help you with any questions you might have. Okay. If there's no more questions, I think that's it. I'm going to reach out to each of you probably within the next half hour or so. Chris or myself will.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Everyone have a good day.